You're about to listen to Death by Vanilla, a conversation with cringy consequences.
Hey, what'd you do that for? Well, what's that? Oh, what'd you do that for? What'd you do that for? Hey, what'd you do that for? What'd you do that for? What'd you do that for? Well, what's that? Oh, what'd you do that for?
Vanilla.
Just what I was fixing to do.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching Death by Vanilla, a show where two out-of-touch white men try to navigate a conversation without stepping on a landmine of cringe or getting COVID. My name's Timothy Schreiber, and I failed at one of those things.
And my name's Caleb Schreiber, and I did not fail at either of. Well, I did fail at both of the.
Frick you.
Yeah, so
Well, you failed at one.
I did not get COVID because I'm awesome. So my body is. I know. I feel. I feel like magic. Like.
Well, the joke's on you, Caleb, because I got COVID last year and then the variant this year, so now I'm officially built different.
You are.
So
you.
I won't get.
You are. However, I'm just going to say this though, really quick. I am full of. I am just packed with antibodies. Packed, like absolutely stacked with antibodies. And then now you are too. So congratulations.
Thank you. This is nice. I get to do this from the comfort of my own home. I do miss the cold, hard basement, though.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, actually. But you know, it is nice though being able to just recline.
Yeah, I'm not
relax.
reclining. I'm actually just in like one of the metal chairs that we use sometimes.
Why did you use the metal chairs? Just use one.
Well, because I had to set up fast and and Katie's upstairs cleaning and she'll get super mad at me if I interrupt her. By stealing the giant TV out of our living room like that.
Okay, but let's just round of applause for Katie. Round of applause for Katie.
Round of
for being the
applause.
best sister-in-law / wife ever, because she. Before this was like, you want me to, can I vacuum now? And she, she's considerate.
Yes.
Unlike most people. My brother, Daniel.
Is he vacuuming right now?
Punk. No, he's doing other stuff. It's fine. He's just I feel like he's gotten on my nerves so much because I've had to be with him for so long in a house.
Yeah.
So.
That's why there's been an uptick in domestic abuse. Is because do you know what domestic abuse?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's been so much domestic abuse because it's like I can't stand being around everybody all of the time. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Especially this guy. I don't know, but yeah, it was like other than that, like quarantine has been okay.
Who
aside from the whole
cares?
This was over Christmas thing. Oh, who asked? But this was over Christmas and everything, so that was the only sucky part, knowing that you guys were like right next door at Grandma's house having dinner while I was over here punching Daniel. So
punching Daniel and throwing up in a toilet.
Yeah.
Did you throw up at all?
COVID rocks. Yeah, I threw up 2 times.
2?
That's not important. But,
yeah. That's weird to me because I didn't throw up at all. Like I had the flu, like it was definitely like flu symptoms. Like I had a fever and like it was bad. This was last year. I had a bad fever. I had like a weird headache. I felt disconnected. I was very cold, but I had a high temperature. But then it was like after a day, I was gone. Have you lost your taste and smell?
No, which is surprising. So mom was the one who tested positive, and then shortly after she tested positive, like the day after, I got all that. I got like the foggy head. I was cold. I threw up a little bit, and I had like a bunch of I don't like this word. This word is like moist to me.
Okay.
It's like mucus. I hate that word.
Mucus?
I hate it, but
Mucus sounds like a pretty rad guy to me. Hey, Mucus!
It's your boy Mucus. Hey, Mucus! It's like Lucas.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was throwing. Like, it was weird because I would eat, but I wasn't throwing up anything I was eating. It was just pure mucus, which is not important and gross, but
No, I appreciate you for sharing that and being so vulnerable. I appreciate that. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Because of you guys, I had to quarantine for like a couple of days, and that sucked. So thanks for ruining that. But other than that, Christmas was not ruined because of you, except for mine. Well, mine was kind of a little bit. But not
How
too
was
bad.
yours ruined? We had to stay home.
Well, Christmas Day, we didn't really do anything. Because you guys were what we did Christmas Day. If that makes sense. Anyways, nobody cares about our plans. Tim, you have been bottled up inside of this room, and you have probably had a lot to say to other people.
Yes.
Now is your time to do that.
Absolutely. I have not realized
I can't
how
hear you.
much.
I can't hear you.
Yes, you can. What? Hello? It's picking up on what the? Oh. I accidentally hit my.
Oh
mute
my
button.
goodness. I was about to pee myself. Okay.
But yeah, I had not realized how insane the average person can go with just being bottled up in a house for that long. Like I forgot how it was like last year. Last year wasn't this bad,
No.
but I don't know. I don't know. I hate it.
I don't feel like
I
you didn't show as strong of symptoms last year. So this year I think
Right.
it probably hit you a lot harder.
Yeah, I had it more within the first 2 days, but where it's actually been hitting me is how bored I've been getting and how many projects I've been getting out of the way.
Okay. What projects have been getting done?
Well, first of all, I did like redecorating like 15 times, you know, because that's your average go-to. We got a big project that I've been wanting to get done. I've done laundry like right away, which is not usual of me. Like I'll have laundry and then never fold it and like put it away for a while till it's too late. But I've been doing that like back to back to back. Just a lot of cleaning, a lot of that. You know, we got this done. I made a little comfy nook now. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it still looks a little bit messy, if I'm being honest. Like you were showing me, they're like, it's so clean. I'm like, I don't think it's that
It's just
clean.
because it was just because it was my choice to put my throw blanket the way I did. Like I literally threw it on the couch so it looks like it's a mess, but I'm tired of folding it because every time I fold it, somebody sits on it and then just ruins the whole thing. So.
Well, what we need to do is get you like a little basket so like that you can just roll up some blankets and then just put it in the basket
Absolutely.
next to the couch, and that's nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I did a bunch of furnishing and stuff like that. And then I also did this. This was kind of stupid. So I found like a Hot Wheels car. I sanded it down,
Okay.
sanded off all the paint, and then I painted it like the sky blue, and then I put clouds on it, and now I call it Cloud 9.
Oh, is that the original number that was on it? Was 9?
No.
Oh, okay. You just called it Cloud 9. That's a pretty cool idea though. I've never thought about doing that.
Yeah, and I didn't either until I had nothing else to do. So
I'm sorry.
yeah, I see. Like I'll like look at this is the worst part. It's because it's over Christmas break, so I'll go on Snapchat and I'll see all my friends like out doing stuff, and then I'm over here and I'm like, oh, that's fun. Guess what I did? I played a simulator about trucking for like 9 hours.
But you do
a
that
day.
when you're not quarantined, like a
Not
loser.
true. I have a job and I have swimming.
Yeah, but whenever you're not doing your job and you're not swimming, you're talking about, and whenever you talk about gaming with friends, like half the time I've heard you guys talk, and I'm like, all he's talking about is his truck simulator, because you guys play that all the time.
Yeah, well, it's because we have 7 of us and we can play it together and it's fun. But
Do you guys?
then you realize that it's what?
So you guys all drive a simulator, and then like you pretend like you guys are on a ham radio?
No, we just drive, and then like half the time, like it's just you sit there for like an hour doing it because it's like that's how long the deliveries are, like, you know, a real thing.
Yeah.
And then you will slowly realize how much you're wasting your time and how this is not building up for anything. So
No.
yeah,
No. Okay.
yeah.
I was.
But they don't. Go ahead. No, fine. It's fine.
No.
It's fine.
I'm picturing the situation like normal truck drivers, like whenever they're driving, they're always talking to their buddies who are also truck drivers, and they're all on ham radios and they're like listening to the police scanner and like all this other stuff. So that's what I'm picturing you bunch of nerds doing.
Yeah, it's pretty much what we do.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So
But Dano gets to do it ultra don't touch grassy, and he gets to put on a VR, so he's like in the game. It's a cool thing, Dano. I get it, but it's excessive.
I think it's
But
pretty
he
cool.
can like look. He can like look out of the window and stuff like that. So that's fun.
I like that a lot. One of these days, I'm gonna have to get a VR headset. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now we're getting into metaverse. Ooh, that's fun.
Metaverse.
It's not. Yeah. Have you heard of that?
Well, I know Meta is the thing that took over. Like Facebook rebranded as Meta.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because they're making they're taking down like Oculus, and then they're becoming a new platform
Yeah.
instead of
Their logo is whack. Whenever they came out with their logo, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Tim, do you have
Yeah.
legit things to talk about, or like you just want to talk about sanding down a car, or like? Do you know what I mean? Do you want to talk about the we'll talk about Spider-Man at the end here.
Okay.
We need to talk about
we can have a
Spider-Man,
spoiler
but we'll
warning.
save.
We
Okay, so
need to.
spoilers for the end of this episode. We are going to talk about our feelings about this.
Yes.
Can I say that the movie is amazing, or is that a spoiler?
No, that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Like,
the movie's amazing.
It's the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's amazing, and I want to talk about it, and we will talk about it at the end.
Right.
So spoilers ahead.
Right.
So, anyways, continue.
Yeah. So this Christmas, kind of blew, but it was all right. We went. One thing that we did do. This was completely 100% safe. Disclosure. Okay. Disclosure. Me and Daniel. In this, you know what? The CDC. I'm just gonna put this out there so we don't get yelled at. Okay. The CDC just dropped something like 2 days ago that said, after 5 days of being in self-isolation, you can have 5 days afterwards of just wearing a mask wherever you go. And technically, we did it right. And we followed protocols because me and Daniel decided we were way too bored one day and we were like, let's go to Niagara Falls. So we did it.
Okay.
Because it's 2 hours away. And so we went, and then it was like nighttime. Side note, Daniel's not good at driving in cities. I'm not dissing you for it, Daniel. It's just, you're not.
It's just facts.
It's just
Timothy speaks
it was a
two
lot to
languages, English and facts.
And facts.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, we found ourselves on. There was a toll booth, and we were like in the city. We're like, well, we drove to the wrong. So we typed in Niagara Falls on the phone for the GPS, and it took us there. But it was in some random like shady neighborhood in the city, in a random parking lot.
Yep.
And then like we had to reroute, and then it was like it said it was like an hour away. It wasn't. It was right down the street. I was like, Daniel.
Yep.
It's right there. Like everywhere around here has been saying like Niagara Falls Casino and stuff like that. But
piece of advice: the best place to park, like if you guys ever go back down and you don't have COVID, the best place to park is in you go to the Seneca Casino. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Go into that parking lot because it's free. That's number one. And then 2, there's really good food there. 3, literally there's a path that goes straight down and you just walk down that path. And there's a bunch of cool things as you pass by that goes right down to Niagara Falls. So park there because it's free and it's amazing. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, we went. So originally, like we saw the toll booth and everything, and like lined up, and we were like, "Oh, the Niagara Falls obviously is on the other side of that."
Yeah.
And we have to go through there. So we pulled in, and we pulled up, and there was a lady there, and then it was super dead. There was nobody there, and we were like, "Hi, is this the way to get into Niagara Falls?" She's like, "Yep." And then she's like, "We were like, cool, like $4 a person. That's fine." So we were giving it to her, and then like she's like, "Yep, this is the Canadian side," and we're like, "Oh."
Oh,
like, do we need our
crap, dude.
Yeah. And we said, "Do we need our passports for this?" And then she's like, "Yep." And then
so you were crossing the bridge to go to the other side.
No, we almost did though.
Oh,
If we
okay.
didn't mention, "Do we need our passports?" And if she didn't bring it up, we wouldn't have been able.
So
it
you
would've been-
and Daniel turned around and went back to Buffalo, New York.
right.
Yeah.
And so then we pulled into, there was like a parking lot that had like the toll booth
Yeah.
thing, but for some reason the arm was still up. We saw somebody ahead of us pay, but the arm like stayed up for a long time after us. And like, so we like tried to pay and everything, like we put in the card, didn't work.
Weird.
So we're like, let's just drive in and like see what happens. So we did, and we parked, and then we went down. I have never seen the falls from this angle or like remember it at all, because the last time I saw it was whenever I was like 6-ish.
Okay.
And I don't remember like anything from that. You probably remember a lot more, but
Yeah, it used to be an annual thing for me and my buddies. We used to go down every year. So we've seen it from like pretty much every angle. We went onto the boat, like we went out and like saw all of them like several times. Like I've done that probably 5 times in the past 10 years. And there's a place that you can go. It's really hard to get to, but there's an island that you have to take a trolley to, and then it takes you to these caves, and these caves come out right in the middle of one of the falls. And so like they give you like a poncho, and you can go out and like you just get soaking wet. Just like the
That's
falls are like boring.
awesome. You did that.
Yeah, I did that.
That's so cool. Yeah, nah, we were just boring. We just like saw it the normal way. But like, I had no idea for the night that they had like that, like, right, across from one of them. There's like this giant light that changes colors on it.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. But so we got to see that. We got out of the car. It was freezing. Dale didn't bring his jacket, and there was like nobody there, which was another bonus. And then, so we saw it for like 15 seconds, and we just went right back in the car.
Wow, dude.
And then, so we almost got ourselves into another pickle. We were like pulling out of there, and they have a thing like on the toll booth to, like, apparently see whether you paid for your parking or something. Because the arm goes down, like, and it kept going up and down like normal, and I'm so glad. This was probably illegal, but I'm so glad Dana let a car pass in front of us. He said, "Yeah, go ahead," and like the car passed in front of us, and then they raised the bar, and then Dana was like, "Oh," I was like, "Dana, oh shoot!" Like they're gonna be able to tell whether we paid or not. I was like, "Go, go, go, go!" And so we just book it, and we made it. So we probably owe that national park.
100%. Yeah.
So
yeah, you definitely
that's
do.
our bad. Our bad, Niagara Falls.
Well,
Sorry.
Here's what we'll do. Sometime we'll have to go back, like in the spring or something, because the spring is a great time to go there. Because like the park itself, like surrounding it, is beautiful. We'll take you sometime, and we'll actually pay for parking and
double charge it.
We'll do our due diligence. So
yes,
don't worry, we'll take you down to go see it.
Because it's important to help national parks, people.
I know what you guys did was not the most responsible of things, but
it was legal. It was legal according to the CDC.
That's very memorable. That's a
also,
really cool thing.
Also, it was responsible because the CDC was fine with it.
Okay. Sure.
So
all right. Whatever justification.
We were wearing masks. We weren't around people. We stayed distant. Kids.
That's good. All right.
We made sure to go to the bathroom so we didn't have to on the way there. Okay.
That's a good idea.
We couldn't handle being that lame the entire quarantine. So
if we get canceled again,
right,
your fault. So
it's my bad.
Yeah, it's your fault. Yeah. So,
no. What about you, Keel?
What do you mean? What about me?
What have you done in the past week?
So because we had contact with you, we had to go get tested, obviously. Right. So, we went and there was this. Dad told us about a pop-up clinic that was just at this location. So we went to this pop-up clinic. It was at the prison. So we went to the prison and we drove through one of these back like garages that they have, and they tested us there. There's this little tiny Asian lady, and she came. I think she might have been Vietnamese. She came around the side, and she was like literally like jumping up and down. She's just like, "Hi!" Like as we were like rolling down our window. So I'm like, first of all, way too energetic. We possibly have COVID. We're peeing ourselves, nervous because we're like, frick, if we test, like we don't want COVID, obviously. So, she crams it up our nose like so far, like we are crying. Like this chick was like, I'm like, I didn't realize my nostrils needed plunged. Like I'm not a toilet. And that's what Katie said that. And so she was like, she was plunging her freaking nose with this stupid thing, dude. It was rough. Anyways, so, I mean, after that, we went back to work, and work was fine. We went to my wife's house Christmas Eve, and we had a fun time there. Dude, literally ever since then, we've just been doing normal life stuff. See, that's the thing about quarantining is like when you're quarantined, you're like, oh, I cannot wait to get out and do like just crazy things. Like I can't wait to like,
yeah.
But you just do normal, like everyday stuff. And you're like, yeah, this feels good.
Which is fine for me because I'm okay with doing, like I want to get back to find, regular everyday life stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So I have been doing everyday life. I think about the only thing of significance is that I want to talk about is this game that's, well, the Exploding Kittens, correct?
Right.
So for Christmas, I got this game that's also created by the people who created the Exploding Kittens. It's called Throwing Burrito.
Okay. Sponsored? Question mark?
No. Potentially. So I'm sure we could record a podcast where we play this game, but it's freaking awesome. So it's like
Would love to.
it's like Go Fish, except for like once you get a match, if it's a certain match, there's 2 like burritos in the middle of the table, and you throw the burrito at the other person.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like real burritos.
No,
or
so
like
they're
plushy
like
ones?
these soft animated burritos that are like they're like a stress ball.
Mm-hmm.
So they're made out of foam. They're foam burritos. They're soft little burritos, but you throw the
Okay.
burrito at each other. What?
I just want you to let you know, if we're playing that game on the podcast, we're going to Taco Bell and getting real
Oh,
burritos.
100%. No, we're going to get legit burritos. And because
Oh, yeah.
it's a concrete basement, we can throw whatever we want at each other. So
Right.
done.
It's just we're gonna have like burning sour cream in our eye. It's gonna be awesome.
Taco Bell is never warm ever. So it's not.
For me, I just had a burrito and it was. So, you know, I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you get like DoorDash or something?
No, mom is technically out of quarantine because or she started like 3 days earlier.
Oh, she brought
before
home
me.
Taco Bell. What did you guys have?
It was like this one with like it was like the spin on like the Frito burrito that they changed, and then it was like
Yes.
It was
My
weird.
buddies were talking about that. They said I needed to go pick that up because I was furious, and I think I talked about this on the podcast several times, but I was furious that they took away the
They got
beefy
rid
Frito burrito. Is it good?
Yeah, this one is godly, dude. Like it's better than the Frito burrito. It's got more kick. It's got more kick and spice. But yeah, with the whole COVID testing thing, it really sucks because I got my COVID test a week, like a solid COVID test a week before we got it.
Oh, did you?
And so I was mad. Yeah, because we were quarantined for like a couple days before I could get my test back. So and it took forever for us to find it too. Like we had to go to Rite Aid, and we did the drive-through. We had a drive-through one where we got to use this like
Do
the
it
skewer
yourself.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I almost peed myself laughing because for some reason I figured this out because I did an at-home test the other day, and I figured out for some reason, this nostril right here, it's ticklish. It's ticklish.
You've always been weird and like ticklish in weird spots.
Yeah.
Do you want to disclose where you're ticklish at?
No. You'll have to find out.
Ew.
But I did it, and like she was like, okay.
Do you know what's funny? Okay,
Swab it
there's
around
a
for 8
weird double
seconds.
standard that you have because
Okay.
you made that joke. It was a funny joke, solid joke. Okay, I would give you a fist bump, but you're not here. You can try. No,
just-
other one,
Hold on.
other one.
Others.
Okay, there we go.
Nice.
So
that was nice.
So you made a joke like that, and it was funny, and it was kind of sensual, just a little bit gay, just a little bit gay. Okay, but
It's about tickling, Caleb.
if
Perverted
any of
mind.
us would say that joke about you and your girlfriend, you would flip it. You'd be like, no, stop that, calm down. You get like so serious about it.
That's not true. You're dead wrong for that. No. But no. So she had that stupid thing where she was like, yeah, swab it around for 8 seconds in each nostril. So I did.
Yeah.
This nostril was fine. But I was fully expecting for them to do it. And so like I was like, I'm anticipating the worst feeling I've ever felt. And but it didn't happen. So I did it myself, and then I did on this nostril. It made me want to cry
Hold on.
because I was ticklish.
Keep going. I have low battery on my laptop, so.
Wow, Caleb being Mr. Unprepared over here. See, this is the problem. This is the problem, Caleb, when we have this many things running. You understand?
Is battery?
Yeah, get your crap together. Well, it's there's so many things that could go wrong. That's the problem.
I know, unfortunately.
We have like 15 other devices.
If
going
people
on right now.
actually understood how hard it was to put a podcast on, they
wouldn't do it.
No. So like, why is it so? Do you know why people like Joe Rogan have such an easy time putting on a podcast?
Because he has got a crew that does it for him.
That's exactly right. Do you think Joe Rogan actually knows anything about like audio or visual or like what's going on? No, absolutely not. But we complain about it all the time because we have to do all of this entirely by ourselves. So
Yeah, and it comes to the point where that's part of our podcast is complaining about how tough it was to set up. So
yeah, which I've
Sorry,
accepted
guys.
fully.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's okay.
It's a little bit of a vice, and I'm okay with this. Should we get into Spider-Man spoilers now?
Absolutely. Okay, so from this point on, everybody, if you haven't seen the new Spider-Man No Way Home, leave. Leave. Or don't.
Or stick around because you've had plenty of time to watch it. It's been like a month since it's been out, so it will have been by the time the podcast comes out, probably.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair.
So,
all right.
So this is not a sponsor, but also go see Spider-Man No Way Home in theaters.
Absolutely,
now,
you should.
and then buy it, and then buy another one and give it to your friends, and then buy another one and give it to me.
Absolutely.
So do that. So
let's talk about how so you and I had the same experience watching it. Okay.
Yes. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna start somewhere else first. Let's get your background with Spider-Man. Like, what was your first introduction to Spider-Man as a character? What has been your favorite Spider-Man thing to date before this movie? And how did that movie impact you with all of that? Go ahead.
Okay. I think the first one that I watched was Andrew Maguire's.
It's Tobey
Did I just
Maguire.
say Andrew Maguire?
Yeah, you
No,
combined
sorry,
the name.
I just said Maguire. Yeah, yep. Oh my goodness. Andrew Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first one I saw, and it was the Electro one. That was the first Spider-Man that I've ever seen.
The first Spider-Man you saw was the Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
And it wasn't even Andrew Garfield's like first Spider-Man. It was his second one.
That's what I said. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the first one's called then? Like Tobey Maguire's. What were those
The
called?
Amazing Spider-Man, and then there was the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. But I watched the Amazing Spider-Man 2 first, and then after that was done, like I watched them not in order. You showed me then Tobey Maguire's second, like the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then I watched the first one, but it was all like not put together. But I think because of that though, I have and because after this movie I rewatched all of them again.
Oh, you
because
did?
Quarantine. All of them. We watched them all in order.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, and I have to say, and this is controversial, I think that Andrew Garfield has an incredible way of portraying Spider-Man. Like, not Peter Parker. He's too cool for Peter Parker.
I agree.
But him as Spider-Man, spectacular. Spectacular.
Except for there's a weird moment in the first, I don't know if you remember from the first The Amazing Spider-Man, he goes a little insane a little bit. Like he like pins like a guy against the wall and he like starts like he like thwips the guy in the balls. And like he gets a little bit of a
that was funny. That was funny though.
It was funny, but it wasn't his character. It wasn't him. Like that's not a Spider-Man thing to do. He got a little bit psycho, and like there was a scene where like it like zooms right in on his face, like while he's like you could tell he's like kind of mad, like in the scene.
Yeah, no, well, so it's because I think that's because like all the cops weren't appreciating him, and he was a criminal to them. Like because whenever he did the twa and he like pinned the criminal against the wall, he's like I did half of your job for you. Whenever the police like pulled up, and they like tried to arrest him and he had to get out of there. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I definitely that was kind of like out of what Peter Parker would do. But I feel like you have to have some bad moments as Spider-Man or whatever. But I don't know. One scene that I don't remember from the first time I ever watched it, but I remember like that I saw was the crane one where he like gets both ends of the crane and he like parachute like he like slings himself
I think
out.
that whole scene is really cool because that's such a good neighborhood Spider-Man moment because like the rest of the city is helping him. It's like we understand that this is the guy who's trying to save us and we're going to help him.
That was a different thing. because
was it? Okay.
It was at the end of the movie. He was inside of one of the cranes and he was like so he went into the crane and then he like got onto both sides and he like slingshot himself out.
Oh, okay, cool.
But what you're talking about is whenever he had to go save, I think Gwen or something.
Yeah.
And like all the cranes, like they all like turned in the streets.
Yeah, and he was already beaten up pretty bad. by that
Yeah.
time. Yeah, that was in the first one. No, I think
yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. I agree entirely. I think his Peter Parker kind of stinks because he's too cool, and two, I think the Spider-Man suit in the second one is
Was
the best
weak.
Spider-Man suit out of all
I
of
think
them.
It's weak.
Huh?
I like Tom Holland's. I like Tom. Well, I don't know because I do like the texture that he had.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that.
I like the texture and the eyes. The eyes are big and they remind me of the comics a whole lot.
Yeah, I just think honestly, Tobey Maguire is hyped up purely because of nostalgia. I'm gonna say that.
No, I think he's the best Peter Parker because everyone.
He's all right.
Because you hate him. Like the point of Peter Parker is to hate him, is to be like, you are a nerd. Shut up. You're so cringy. Like that's Peter Parker. And then behind the scenes, he's just like, yeah, but I have issues too. And then because of that, he puts on, like he has the capability of putting on this persona as the hero of New York. And then he steps out, and everyone's like, we love you. So he has to battle with this. Everybody's like, we love you, Spider-Man, but then on the other side, everybody's like, I hate you, Peter Parker. That's part of who he is.
Yeah, I feel like for that reason, I didn't enjoy it as much because every time I would watch, I would watch him, he's really good at it was really good. It was really good because that's like part of Peter Parker. But to me, what I see Peter Parker as is exactly what Tom Holland's was, and it's like a nerdy like kind of like antisocial person who doesn't get social cues, and who's in high school, who's like a high school kid. And I didn't like, he wasn't in high school for like any of those first movies with both Tom Maguire or Andrew Garfield.
Right.
And I feel like it's perfect that they showed that with like Tom Holland's, because that's what I see him as like a nerdy teenage kid.
Yes. I would say though, and this is where it gets into by the end of the movie of into the No Way Home movie.
No Way Home, yeah.
By the end, I feel like now Tom Holland is Spider-Man.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
Not saying that he wasn't any less Spider-Man before, but like now he's really Spider-Man because he's on his own. He is dealing with the death of his aunt now. He had to finally make his own suit. He wasn't handed the suit by a billionaire.
Yep.
Which always felt weird. I never liked Tom Holland's suit. Not that the suit matters, but I never really liked Tom Holland's suit because it was always so mechanical. Because it was like that. But part of Spider-Man, the appeal of Spider-Man is that it's a homemade
raw thing.
Yeah. And he did now, and it's cool because like he took. Like this new Spider-Man suit, I know we didn't get a good look of it at the very, very end of the movie, but he took bits from both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Like he like saw their suits and was like, I think I can make this like mine. So he is now embodying like the best Spider-Man because he's experienced both sides.
Yeah, and I really enjoy the fact that like whenever they came back, they kept like the same look for their suits. That was so awesome to me. And like you could tell like everybody knew as soon as the new ones were coming in, because that whole movie, I mean, I talked to you about this, but like after, I wasn't sure that they were going to bring them in. I was like, maybe they're just going to bring, the other villains from the universe. But like I wasn't, because it had been so long. It took them so long to bring them in. But as soon as he went and opened the portal and you saw like Spider-Man with the old suit in the alley, I was like, oh,
dude, personally, I didn't know that was Andrew Garfield. They opened the portal before I knew. I mean, it's been building up all year. Everybody has been talking about how these two were going to be in there, but I set my expectations very low so that I wouldn't get disappointed. I was like, they're not going to be in the movie. So that if they are in the movie, I'm not disappointed. So I was not thinking going into the movie that they were going to be in there. So as soon as he opens up the portal, as Ned opens up the portal, did you know that like Ned portrays a character from like it looks like Miles Morales' friend whose name's as Gonk?
I did not know that. No.
Anyways, so Ned opens up a portal, and then And as soon as I see the Spider-Man, like he's pretty far off in the distance, so it's hard to recognize that like what idiot, but he is. But as soon as he started coming towards, I saw the bigger eyes. I said, "Oh no, freaking way!"
Yeah.
And then he pops out.
Everybody freaked out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was so awesome, and that's like that moment right there was like it was. I think it's kind of fan service a little bit because it's like bringing them in. They could have done without it, but I'm so glad that they did, and they played it so smooth too, because my favorite part of the entire movie was whenever they were on the Statue of Liberty, and they were all like talking to each other about their universes. Love that, and then like whenever they like landed together. Oh my goodness, that was so sick.
That's everybody's like favorite visual moment. I think one of mine is whenever Tobey Maguire stepped in and he was stopping. I mean, that was a good moment whenever he was trying to stop Tom Holland from killing the Green Goblin.
Yeah, and I think that's also part of what comes as like that's why it also feels like more Spider-Man. Like he is Spider-Man now because he's done all of what they've done. And plus with the whole like struggling with like almost killing him thing, like he faced all their struggles plus more because he's been through a lot more movies and like a lot more villains and stuff like that, and all of theirs he's been through as well. So yeah, I don't know, that was really awesome to me. I really like how they portrayed Electro too. Electro definitely got a glow up there in that movie compared to when we last saw him. But like with his mask, how they like try to stay true to like what he looked like in the comics, but did it smoothly.
There's an entire, and you and I will have to talk about this later, but there's an entire theory as to, because that's a plot hole. It seems on the surface like it's a giant plot hole because in The Amazing Spider-Man, Electro doesn't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And the spell is the spell pulls in anybody who knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So it's kind of weird that they said that because it seems like a plot hole. Because even whenever he comes in, he like later on he sees Andrew Garfield like with the mask off, and he says you're different. He's like, I expected you to be a black man. Like I expected you to be black. And so it was weird because they brought him in, but he wasn't supposed to come in because he didn't know he was Peter Parker. But I can explain that to you later. There's a whole bunch of videos out there that explain the plot hole. So
and for any of this, for any context or anything, like if you've seen the movie, but I have a bunch of questions because you didn't pick up on some of this because the movie was just that great, go watch some videos. But like that movie, like it was so good. I love how this was like one of the best parts of the movie. Whenever Tobey Maguire. So his whole thing, I went and since I rewatched the movies, his thing was that whenever he was going to grab somebody to save them as they were falling, he webbed them. Yeah. First. Like wherever he was, he would web them. Like the kid, there was a kid in the first the first movie that he was in that he was falling off of a bridge or falling out of a car, and what Tobey Maguire did was he like latched onto the bridge and then like latched onto the kid, and it worked out. But then, you know, at the end of the movie, whenever he was trying to save Gwen, he did that as well. And it was really cool because the web was like reaching out. Yeah. But like he did that same thing and then he killed her. Yeah. But and in this movie, he learned his lesson, and as MJ was falling, Tom Holland's MJ was falling, the same way too. He, instead of webbing, he went down and then like cradled her, and then.
Do you know what they call that?
No.
Character development, because it shows shows that they learned the lesson. Like he learned that webbing people to save them is not helpful. So so you can think about and picture that after that moment, he practiced catching things without having to use webbing often. And it's the same. And so that moment is really important whenever he catches her and he like saves her, and he like, you can see close up on his face, and they like, this is also really cool, without even having him to explain and be like, oh, I can forgive myself now that happened. He doesn't have to do that anymore. Like they just zoomed in on his face, and you could tell, that he was thinking to himself, I can forgive myself now because I have saved somebody that was important to my buddy. And same with the Tobey Maguire thing. Like Tobey Maguire killed the Green Goblin. And so he's already been there. So he was helping Tom Holland to prevent him from killing Green Goblin, because that's not the way.
Right. Yeah. And with them both, doing that, that's why, again, he also feels more like Peter Parker to us, because he did all the things that they did, or stuff happened to him that everybody else got, but he actually didn't. He learned from their mistakes.
That's right.
He got to learn from their mistakes. So
it was a really deep movie.
Yeah,
it made you feel things.
Yeah. One thing, especially, is with them, like they kept a lot of the same energy. Like Tobey Maguire is almost 50 years old.
Yes,
and the fact that he was able to keep the same energy and looked kind of youngish.
Yeah.
I think that was awesome to me as well. Same thing with Andrew Garfield. He was getting older too.
You could tell he definitely aged. And I liked the banter that they were going back and forth with, where like Andrew Garfield was like, he was just like, you guys are just so cool. And then Tobey Maguire was just like, what's up with all of this mental talk? He's like, this mind talk. He was just like, we need to stop it with that. You're amazing. You're amazing. It was just funny because he's the Amazing Spider-Man. Like that's what his movies are called. So. Yeah.
And I loved how Tom was like, guys, I'm in the Adventures. And they're like, oh, what's that? I love that part too. Yeah. I just feel like, do you think in the next Spider-Man / movie, do you think they're going to keep Tom
Holland?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They're going to do another two trilogies with him. So their plan was to do one in high school, one in college, and like three movies in high school, 3 movies in college, and then 3 movies with Spider-Man as an adult. That's their plan.
Oh, nice.
Right now. So, and then I also think that they're in talks with Andrew Garfield to bring him back to do a 3rd movie as well.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah, I really like he just had some poor writing as well, which was another problem with his movies. Yeah. But I did really, even still with him being like really cool and everything, and being really, he was really smooth, and I still think personally that is still funny to me. He was a lot more funny to me than the other characters. But
so, personal question. Well, okay, so whenever we walked out of the theater, because we saw this together, whenever we walked out of the theater, one of your guys' friends said, I hated that movie. It was just a bunch of fan pleaser. So to wrap up the podcast, do you think it was fan pleaser?
Like fan service?
Yeah. Do you think the movie was fan service, and was that good or bad?
So they had the whole movie in itself was not fan service. It was good because it's been building up to that for a long time. And the fact we had that with like Into the Spider-Verse, which was, the cartoon with just Miles Morales. And like, and they had a bunch of like a couple slides with fan service and everything there, but it helped the movie so much. Like I said, whenever they didn't have to bring in the other Peter Parkers, he could have faced them alone, but it was symbolic. So the fan service definitely did help, and I feel like there's a bad stigma around fan service being a bad thing, and it's not because if done right, and if they also put their own part into it, it can be done so well. And because otherwise, you would have walked if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were not in that movie, you would have walked out of that movie. That's why you set the bar low, but you still, in your mind, would have been kind of disappointed that you didn't see that. And it's like kind of the same way it ruins stuff for us, because if I walked out of that movie and they weren't in it, I know I would have been disappointed or something, because I don't know, it just felt right.
Yeah, it did.
Like, but the villains was definitely a new thing that was really cool. That wasn't as much fan service, but.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was done perfectly.
I think you said it really well. Like, yes, there was fan service involved, but it was done well. Like, there was fan service scattered throughout. Same with Endgame. Endgame was an amazing movie and it had a lot of buildup. Like this was a Spider-Man Endgame because like there was a lot of buildup to it, and there was like Captain America grabbing the Thor's hammer and then saying "Avengers Assemble." Like obviously fan service, but it was a great movie, and nothing was cheap. Not as far as like price tag, but like everything had a purpose, and you felt that purpose. And same with this movie, it had a purpose. Like the thing that I was trying to associate it with was also like the Rise of Skywalker, the last Star Wars movie that they made. That was fan service done bad. It felt like nothing was deserved and nothing had a purpose, but they give you a bunch of that anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about like not directly listening and putting their own spin on something and stuff, but it's good to put like 50-50. Yeah. So
we'll probably have a billion different conversations about this, but
yeah, and please, if you whatever your opinions on this whole movie, if you wanted to share anything with us that we didn't mention or anything like that, go to our Instagram and DM us at Death by Vanilla. So, and then we'll be able to respond.
Yeah, we'll have your questions or whatever you have. We'll have them on the next podcast and we can address them directly. So that'd be cool. Good shout out, bud. We didn't plan that, but like nobody goes to our Instagram. Yeah. Nobody thinks about our Instagram, but we have an Instagram. It's at Death by Vanilla on Instagram. So, all right. Thank you everybody for watching.
Thank you everybody.
We'll see you next time with Timothy being in person without COVID.
Yeah. Don't touch my nose.
What'd you do that for?
Right. Bye everybody. Love you.